Good morning, everyone. Sorry for the delay, a little technical difficulties, but all is good. Good morning. It is May 16th? No, 15th? Whatever day it is. I never know the day. I'm so sorry. And this is my weekly live right here on the East Coast. It is 11 o'clock. It is 11 o'clock on the East Coast. Leave it to me to be a little delayed and then it throws me all off. So if we haven't had the pleasure of meeting, I'm starting on a great foot here meeting you. I'm Jamie. I am the Jamie and Stamp It Up with Jamie, and I get the pleasure of sharing all things paper crafting with you. I go live right here in YouTube every week at this time, sharing a card with you, hopefully inspiring you, answering questions, and showing you fun paper crafting, which is what I absolutely love to do. So come on in today and say hello if you're watching, or maybe you're catching the replay. Hello, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. What I like to do every week is sort of a showcase, feature, show off a specific product. I'm all tongue tied. So this week I am showing the Spotlight on Nature. There, how about here? We'll do it here. Spotlight on Nature. And I think I did this the other day. Oh, I did. Look at that. Okay. Spotlight on Nature bundle. It has really sweet, kind of soft, feminine even images. I love the flower, love the butterfly, and love the leaf. Hello, Lori. Thanks for watching. Good morning, Maureen. And I love the stamp set, but I am literally obsessed with the dies. Okay, let me not do that. Let me do this. Okay. I'm literally obsessed with the dies. I love a good label. I love something very versatile. I love to get a lot of bang for my buck. If I'm investing in a product, I want to get a lot of different uses out of it. And honestly, if you do not have these Spotlight on Nature dies, you need them. And I try not to say must have too often, but these are hands down a must have. You get a couple of different designs. There's one that has like this kind of floral leafy kind of thing, some dashes. This one, it does die cut the circle, but it also embosses these little dashes all around. And then you get 12 and varying sizes of the circles. I'm sorry, these are a must have. They're so good. I keep using them over and over again. I'm using them for my events. I'm using them for classes. I'm using them like just for my own card making. I love them so much. Now, the downside, and I hear it a lot, so we can do this. This stamp set doesn't have dies that coordinate with the images. Okay, so I know I just like lost half of you that hate fussy cutting. So if you're going to want to die cut these images, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending how you see it, you're going to have to fussy cut them. I don't mind fussy cutting. We're going to do a little bit today. And so I don't mind it. So I'm going to fussy cut. But the opposite is like, if you don't want to fussy cut, you just need to stamp your image on the circle. It'll look a little different. It'll come out a little different than maybe this one does, but you can get a similar look. And I get it. Fussy cutting isn't for everyone. I realize sometimes we have physical limitations. I don't know if you've ever noticed, but I have a slight tremor in my own hands. And so sometimes I even struggle with fussy cutting a little bit. So I get it. If it's you, like, if you're like, I can't do it, I want to encourage you to keep trying, keep working at it, keep practicing. It does get easier the more you do it. Is the idea to use the circle? Is the idea to use the circle? Lori, can you just clarify? I'm not exactly asking. I know what you're asking. Like this circle? Is that what you're asking about? Is the idea to use the circle? So yeah, I know fussy cutting isn't for everyone, but give it a try. Keep practicing. And if you're like, I just can't do it, Jamie, you're going to have to stamp your images right on the circle. Stamp within the circle. You could stamp this right on that circle. So instead of, this is all fussy cut out. If you don't want a fussy cut, you're just going to stamp the floral image right on the circle, and you'll have to lower it. It'll cut off some of the bottom. It'll look fine though. It's a great option. So this is today's card. I love it so much. Yesterday's is this one. Now, so I'm showing contrast, right? A very kind of dolled up, all the things, ribbon, embellishments. pattern paper, die cutting, fussy cutting, coloring. It's like all the things card, right? And then you have this one that the pendulum swings completely the other way, where it's just very, very, very simple. I already put mine in my trash, but I used regular copy paper. And now you could use a punch, okay? But I'm featuring the stamp set. So obviously, I use this one here because you're not going to get any of that detail I guess I use the next size smaller, to cut out a circle. And then I just put it over it. This is just regular copy paper. It's nothing super fancy. What did Linda say? I'm thinking that you stamp on the circle and then stamp again and fussy cut the flowers and add the dimensionals. Yes. No, I didn't stamp on the circle. I just stamped on scrap. You'll see. We'll make it together. I stamped this separately, fussy cut it, and then adhered it down with dimensionals. So this is, and I picked blue and yellow because I wanted it to kind of do a little green in the middle. It's not as prominent as I thought it might be. If I were to have added more color, maybe it would be. But so super clean and simple, and like other way. Tomorrow, I think, is this card, which is, again, texture, pattern paper, die cutting, twine. I love this card. This is a great masculine card, which can be a little bit of a challenge. This would also make a really great sympathy card, I think, one that just sends your condolences and your well wishes and whatever. So, and then this is Friday's card. Okay, so let's just look at our images and go, how did she do that? So I did what's it called? I'm drawing a blank as to what the technique is called. There is a specific technique. So I stamped the butterfly on my silicone mat and then flipped my cardstock on it. So I got the reverse butterfly. That's how I did that. So reverse technique. No, I'm drawing a blank. I don't know what the technique is called, but it's basically where you can get maybe it's the shadow technique, to be able to get the butterfly so he's facing the other way. So you have them both. So this is my card on Friday. Okie dokie. So like, this is kind of very, very simple. This is what I would say is like a next step up, then maybe this one, and then this one. So definitely like a mirror technique. Thank you. I knew there was a name. And I could not think of it. Classic Jamie. So whether you're doing like simple, like don't want a fussy cut, I just want like a card done in 10 minutes. This is for you. And we kind of gradually increase. And then this card would be your most time consuming, needing the most product, some techniques in there and whatnot. This is the one we're making today. Okay, let's dive in. Enough yapping. So I'm starting off with basic beige. This isn't a new in color, but it is a new color added to, it's an added color. It's not in any of the color collections. It's like there with white and black. So basic beige. This is 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5.5. Thank you, guys. I could not think. I'm like, I couldn't think of it. My brain just went blink, just blink. Okay, then, so that's our card base. I cut a 3 by 5 piece from the Country Wood, I think it's called, designer series paper. So this is 3 by 5, and then I cut it into 3 1-inch strips. Okay. Now it's wood grain, so you don't really notice if you don't keep the pattern like together, but I tried to. So I kept it like that, and then I just cut it into 3-inch strips. Helps if I get adhesive. Where's my adhesive? Oh no. Oh no is right. What did I do with my adhesive? Oh no. I maybe use, oh. It's like literally right there. Okay, guys, it's all good. We're good. This is going to be amazing. Okay, I want to kind of make sure that middle strip is centered. So let's see here. I'm going to go down to my grid paper. I'll move it back up in a second. So my middle one, you can eyeball it, but I kind of want to do my best at getting it centered. Okay, now I can move you back. Boop, boop, Boop. Right. Okay. And then, so I did the center one, and then off of that, I can do the other two. Oops, sorry. On either side. I don't know, maybe there's about a quarter of a space between them. More or less. Okay. Then ahead of time, I did this already so I didn't have to be die cutting, because it does take a little bit to get all these little pieces out. If you don't have like the rolling attachment to the take your pick tool, well, first of all, you need a take your pick tool, because you can use this like pokey end to like poke out all the little things, but you also could really benefit from the roller, the attachment that goes on the take your pick tool, because you can just roll out the majority of those little bits. But this is, it's like the 3 1/4 sized circle, 3 1/4 size circle. And this is going to go right on our card front, a little high, a little high. Okay. Okay. So let me show you my sample. We're working our way up. Then I have a 3/4 by 2 3/4, 3/4 by 2 3/4 piece of peach pie. This is one of our new in colors. And I just snipped the ends in a banner. If you follow me or have seen any of my cards, I'm kind of obsessed with banners. I make banners every chance I can. Sentiments, little doodad pieces like this. I love a good banner. I'm a sucker for a good banner. So I just snip up the center and then go corner to corner, and it kind of helps make it so it's parallel. Okay, and that's just going to go a little low. I originally wasn't going to add this. I had like the circle and the flower, and I thought I just needed like a background pop of color. So that's kind of how this came about, this little piece of peach pie. Oh, hold on. Jamie Babarsi. Okay, so I forgot to show you where my card design came from, and I don't even have it out. I think, is it that one? Hold on, talk amongst yourselves. It was this one. Okay, so I used a sketch. Let's back up. Pause on the card making. So I wanted to just talk about sketches for a second, because if you are stumped, if you're in a creative rut, if you're like, I don't know what to do. I'm sitting, I'm looking at all this product. I don't even know where to begin. I'm feeling paralyzed by it. The inspiration for this card came from this card right here, which is on page 23 of the new annual catalog. Now, did I copy it exactly? No, I took it as inspiration. I'm like, oh, I really like those panels. That's really cool. I think I could use it. I think it'll work really well. And so it translated into this card. Likewise, where's the card? This card, which will be tomorrow's card, there we go, is this guy right here. Right there, this one. So on page 22 at the bottom, there's a bunch of card layouts or sketches. This guy right here was this inspiration. The only thing I did is I flip-flopped my circles. So this guy had the circles here and here, and I put them there and there. So if you're struggling, you're like, I don't know what to do. I'm in like creative block and I'm just staring at everything. I don't know where to begin. It's overwhelming. Listen, page 22 of your catalog, it has a slew of layouts or sketches, and you can just flip through the catalog elsewhere. There's tons of cards. You can look on Pinterest. I mean, there's sketches galore. You can find inspiration just about anywhere. And just like, I love this layout. I almost went with like all of these, quite honestly, because I really liked them. But this is the one that's inspired today's card. And when you take a sketch, you can literally interpret it. You can literally like, okay, 3 strips and like a half a oval here and do it exactly as you see it. Or you can take it just as inspiration and a lot of creative liberty with it. So definitely use the catalog as a resource. Use Pinterest as a resource. Like copy a card you've already made. You made a card already. You're like, oh, remember that layout I did? That was really cool. I think I can use it. So I used a sketch kind of as a jumping point, and you can kind of see the inspiration, but then I also took creative liberties. The sketch page is an awesome addition to the catalog. I agree, Amy. I 120 million bajillion % agree. And if you flip through, I don't know if I can find one quickly, but if you flip through, like, okay, so page 73, up here in the corner, they actually show you that they used one of their sketches on this card. So this sketch is shown on page 22, but then they also used it on one of the actual cards. So that's how I used a layout. I'm a huge fan. And if you're in a rut, if you are like stumped and stuck and you're like, I don't know what to do, my suggestion would be to go with a sketch. Okay, back to our regularly scheduled program. I meant to talk about sketches and I got so excited about the card, I just forgot. Okay, so we're going to stamp our big old beautiful flower in Memento. Okay. And hopefully that stamps beautifully. It did. And while we're at it, I don't have it on a block, but let's just stamp our sentiment. Might as well. While I have the ink open. Okay, perfect. Now, I didn't grab my close. Please close. Oh, I got ink all over me. I'm inked up. I think I will use those sketches with sets I haven't used or seldom used. Yeah, they might like just kind of give you something to work off of, starting from scratch, like sitting and looking at a blank piece of cardstock with product all around can be very intimidating. I find it overwhelming. Kind of like not know where to start or where to begin or what to do. So sketches are great. Okay, so let's do some coloring. I'm going to use, I've talked about Color Buddies a little bit. I think, was it last week I talked about it or maybe a couple of weeks ago? I'm a huge fan of Color Buddies. So I'm working with peach pie, pumpkin pie. We're making pies today. And then Calypso Coral I'm going to throw in. You could also, is this Calypso Coral? No, Cajun Craze. I didn't think that looked right. And Cajun Craze. So these are what we would call color buddies. They're colors that are similar, like hues, Hues, and are really complementary to one another. So they're great if you're coloring an image like this. Sorry, I can't color and talk. They're like little gradients of one another. So if you're looking, I've been talking about others, but this combination here, peach pie, pumpkin pie, Cajun Craze are a great option. So I'm starting with peach pie. And just right now, I just want to color. Like I just want to cover the floral image. I'm not worrying about highlighting, low lighting, any of that. Okay, then I'm going to come with my dark peach pie and kind of in the middle, add some contrast. This is what I would call subtle contrast because it's just like a little bit darker than the light peach pie, but not a whole lot. And I'm kind of following those lines that Stampin' Up! Has put on the images. Okay. Then I'm going to come in with the pumpkin pie, the light pumpkin pie, and I'm going to focus more on the bottom and along like that. I don't like the separation of petals, like right there. There's another one. There's another one. Okay, and then I'm going to come with the dark pumpkin pie. So I'm just building the color. And every time I come in, I'm covering less and I colored outside the line there a little bit. Less and less space and focusing less and less area. Like I'm getting more detailed, I guess. Or less detailed. I don't know. Okay, and then I'm going to come in with the light Calypso and do just just a little bit. This is, I don't want to really show, I'm not Calypso, excuse me, Cajun Craze. Okay, and then last but not least, the dark Calypso. Why did I keep saying Calypso Coral? The dark Cajun Craze, I'm basically gonna just use at the very bottom. Color it outside the lines there a little bit. Now I just want to, where's my pumpkin pie? I want to do a, you can come back and sort of tweak. The great thing about these markers is that you can build the color. So I would almost suggest going lighter handed at the beginning because you can build, you can make it more, but if you put too much on, you can't take it away necessarily. No, you can't. Well, you have the color eraser, but anyways, start with a light hand and then you can build. Then for the green leaves, I didn't grab my markers. Granny Smith, not Granny Smith. Did I just say Granny Smith? I just, is this Old Olive? It is. Granny Apple Green and Old Olive is what I'm going to use for the leaves. And again, I would say these are color buddies. If you wanted a third green, you could pull in Mossy Meadow. Would be a third green if you were looking for a trio of colors. I say this every week. I consider doing this ahead of time and doing some card magic so you don't have to sit and watch me color. But I didn't. Now for the stems, I do too, Tammy. I really, really do. It's so pretty. Ballpoint for the stems. Okay, so, and then the dark one, I'm just going to come at the bottom and the top because that's how Stampin' Up! Has it colored. Light-handed. Okay, and then, is this Old Olive? It is. Old Olive. I'm going to do Old Olive just like at the very top and very bottom. I really want it to be a bright green, so I don't want to go too heavy with the Old Olive, but it adds a nice contrast. Okay. Ta-da! Why does that always come blurry? Come on, don't show that blurry. So that's the final product. Okay, guys, here we go. Ready? Dun, 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 dun. We're going to fussy cut. As you can see, I'm trimming it down roughly. It's always easier to fussy cut a smaller image, like a tight cut image, than a huge piece of paper. Good morning, Mary from Southwest Minnesota. Love it. And I'm using my paper snips because goodness knows they're the best for this sort of thing. They're small, they're sharp. They get in these really tight spaces, as you can see. And so if you don't have a good pair of scissors, you need the paper snips. You can't use like house scissors. House scissors will not work for something like this. They're too big and bulky. You need something small and super sharp so that you cut with ease, but you can also get in these tight little. Now, I'm going really tight. Like I'm going in between the leaves. If you aren't a fan of fussy cutting, you could just go straight up like this. You could easily just go like that and not cut in there. But I don't mind fussy cutting, so we're going to just go in. So you don't have to do it quite as detailed as I am. And then the other thing you see me doing is I'm right-handed, so I'm cutting with my right hand. And my left hand is the hand that is weaving the cardstock around, moving the cardstock sort of here and there and twisting it and turning it and getting it where I need my scissors to hit. So it's easier if your hand cutting is just opening and closing the scissors. And then your other hand is the one that's getting it around where you need it. And a new pair, the sharper the better. Yes. small and sharp and I still chop stuff off. I shouldn't. Well, I can't help with that. That I can't help with. Take your time. The other thing is like to take your time. If you're rushing, you're going to make, you know, you're more likely to make a mistake. And then leave a little, see how I'm leaving a line, like a frame, I guess I would call that, around the image. This is very forgiving. This means if I accidentally go too far in or too far out, no one's really going to notice. Whereas if I were cutting on the line, well, first of all, cutting on the line, an image like this would be very hard with that teeny tiny stem. But if you cut on the line, you have to be super precise. This is a little bit more forgiving. Okay. As the more you get closer to being done, the harder it gets because you have less to hold on to. Did I go into that? Oh, I guess it kind of gets covered, so I'm not going to worry about going into that little down there. Your fussy cutting always looks like you die cut. That's a huge compliment. Thank you. Who said that? Joe? Thanks, Joe. I don't mind it because I really like, it's not like I love doing it. Like, oh, let me just sit here and fussy cut for 10 minutes. But I think it's well worth it. Like, I love the final cut image. And so it's worth it for me. Except look at, I don't know if you can see. Oh, you can see. See my thumb? It ends up with like a huge indent in it because I'm like holding the scissors so tightly. Whoop. See? Almost cut off the stem. That wouldn't have been good. Okay, done. While we're at it, let's cut the sentiment. Because I figured if we're fussy cutting the flower, then we might as well fussy cut the sentiment. Yes, Judy, you can do that. I've done that with sentiments before, where you can actually like with the sentiment here. I've done this before. I don't know if I've done it for a live. So like with this, you can actually trace the sentiment. Sorry, my hand is, I'm shaking. So like you can trace the actual, oh, there you go. I forgot I still had ink on it. So you can actually trace the actual stamp itself. Please focus. Please focus. No, it's not going to focus. So then you can, you know, go right over it. Yeah, but it can be like a little bit of a guide. Absolutely. Okay, this guy I'm going to do faster. And funny enough, I was talking about this last night with we had a team meeting last night. I'm like, give me something super complicated, like flowers and leaves and petals to fussy cut. Give me a circle or an oval and forget about it. I can't do it. It's just too hard. I find the more complicated images easier than a simple shape. Like to snip like a square or like just cut straight. Psh, no way. Not happening. Okay, there we go. Ta-da! Okay, this is going to go over. We're going to adhere it down with dimensionals. Now, it gets a little tricky because, no, minis, because there's not a whole lot of places to put dimensionals. So I would definitely recommend minis and putting them basically where you can. And the rest is going to be a little bit more sort of flapping in the wind, 3-dimensional, which is fine. I don't know if I don't think I can get one there. Let's see. Can I get one there? Does that show? It doesn't show. Oh, that one's showing a little bit. Let me just give it a little bit of a haircut. Okay. Oops. I talked. Ah! Thanks, Joe. I hit a button and I hit show your comment. Oops. I will say these mini dimensionals are a little tricky pulling the backings off. Come on. Did I get them? Nope, one more. Nope, 2 more. I missed that one too. So all tap, 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 tap. Okay, we're good. So how about, well, I tapped it, so that's committed there. Okay. And then my sentiment, we're going to just put one mini on the left and a little bit of adhesive on the right because it's going to catch that leaf or stem or whatever. When you fussy cut the words, to me, it looks a lot more detailed instead of using a die. Yeah, I think is that a compliment? That's a compliment, right? I was gonna say thank you, and I'm like, we do have a couple of dies. Like I can't remember the set. I'm drawing a blank, but there is a set. I think it's still around where you could stamp the sentiment and then die cut it. I think it's a tighter die cut though. I think it's a tighter fit. Okay. I'm whipping out the fork. You know what that means. We're going to do a fork bow. I've done this so many times. You guys are probably so sick of hearing me. Okay, thanks, Yolanda. I'm like, I'm sure that's a compliment. Assuming that's a little bold of me. Okay, fork bow. If you see me do this, if you know, hello, Karen. Yay. You know how I do this. I keep like a serving fork literally in my craft drawer. I don't know where I got this, but you can find it in any, it's just a serving fork. So it's big. This one is, it's like 1.5 inches wide. And you need your ribbon. I'm using the peach pie bordered ribbon. And you're going to go across the front to the back and kind of create this V. So you're wrapping around. I keep it on the spool because I don't want to waste. So I'm going to keep it on and then cut it just so I know exactly how many I have, how much I need, excuse me. And then this piece here in the back is going to go over this front piece and then through the middle prong of my fork. And then I'm going to pull it out the back and kind of pinch it between my fingers to hold it nice and taut. And I'll make everything tight. So I'm pulling this tight. This is nice and tight back here. And then I'm going to take the front piece, shove it to the front in the middle, and then go up and through that same middle prong. And give it a cut and then a single knot. Don't double knot it. If you double knot, it'll be way too chunky. A nice tight single knot will do ya. That will not come loose, I promise you. Pull it off the fork and you have a perfect bow nearly every time. And then you can trim your tails. Oh, I think that's still a little long. Hold on, let's give it a little bit more of a haircut. Oh, and then I frayed it. Jamie Babarsi. Okay, so I'm going to tuck that. I was like hemmed and hawed what to do with the bow. I'm like, do I do it straight on? I liked it straight on, but then I thought it would make it too bulky because it's on the dimensionals. And so I kind of just I tucked it to the side there. And I personally like to use liquid glue for ribbon and specifically like bows because glue dots, I don't know. I find sometimes the glue dots, the bows come loose, which is not what I want. So I'm just going to put my bow there, put a block over it, give it a hot second. It doesn't take a lot for it to kind of set. And so I can take the block off, but it just holds it there enough. And then we're going to add my favorite embellishment. Oh my gosh, I love these so much. I don't know how many I've gone through, like packs and packs, multiple packs. Iridescent pearls. I'm trying to see how I was like, how did I do it? So now that I have my block, it's a little tricky. We'll put one down here. There are two sizes, but I'm just going to use the smaller of the two. One over there. And then one like there. Boom. And there you have it. Isn't it beautiful with the block? Let me show you my original. And there you have it. Ta-da! So I love the background of the basic beige with the wood grain because I feel like that peach pie with a little bit of pumpkin pie and even Cajun craze pop. It just boom, right? It's just between the ribbon and like the banner and then the coloring. I think it makes it pop beautifully. Really shows off the gorgeous flowers, the beautiful dye details. This to me is a card that you send to the person that you know is not going to throw it in the trash. This is a card that you specifically send to someone that you know will appreciate the work that went into it. And again, you can use that layout. Remember, let me open it quickly. So I'm using it like this, but you can use this layout for basically anything that you have. Use the 3 strips as kind of a base to work off of, and then just go from there. The sky's the limit. You can do anything. You could add a circle. You can just do a big chunky flower. You can whatever. The sky's the limit. I love those 3 banners. So clever. Just a great base without covering. Instead of just putting a full designer paper pattern, just like these banners. So clever, so fun. So don't forget to use your catalog, page 22, and then the one I use as on 23 as a guide to help you, and just have fun with those sketches. Okay. So let me put, I lost my mouse. Mouse, come back. Da, 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 da. So if you go to jamieb.com, you can find a link to my blog. You can find a link which will have like the linked product. You'll find a link to the starter kit offer right now, which is amazing. You'll find links to my social media and to go shopping. I think the Spotlight on Nature is an absolute must-have, if I haven't said it enough yet. And if you don't already have them, I think you should get them. Absolutely. So that's it for today, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you had fun watching me craft and you feel inspired to go make a card today or this week. And I'll be back next week, same time, same place, and hope to see you then. Bye, everyone. Happy stamping.